Jim Kaplan. I'm the president of the Lower Manhattan Historical Society. We are sending our Evacuation Day flag and a French flag over to France to be brought back here by the Hermione to be raised on July 3rd here at the Bowling Green. For those of you who don't know what Evacuation Day, it was the day in 1783 when George Washington marched into the city, and Washington was very concerned about flags and a proper flag, and he said that he would not come into the city to Bowling Green, which was really the center of the oldest part of the city, unless the American flag was flying. So everybody got together, the American flag, the British left, but when they left it turned out that they had greased the pole, and therefore they couldn't get down the British flag. Finally, a young soldier named John Van Arsdale got cleats and climbed up and pulled down the British flag, and we raised the Betsy Ross flag, this very flag, which we will be giving to the Hermione today. We have been very active in trying to make sure that the Hermione is docked at Pier 16 at the South Street Seaport. And that has a very historic meaning for us here in Lower Manhattan, and I think very much ties in with the Hermione's coming here as a ship from France. When I was a young lawyer starting off here in Lower Manhattan, New York was in terrible shape, and they said things are going, we were once a great city, but our days have passed. But there was a group at the South Street Seaport that thought otherwise, and they arranged for a huge celebration on July 4, 1976 for the bicentennial, where there would be 20 tall ships would come to New York, and it would showcase the importance of our history and how our history and what a great maritime power we once were, and presumably in theory we could again. And there was a huge outpouring at the South Street Seaport for July 4th. And that was a very important event. In my view, that was a turning point, because thereafter things got better down here. People began to realize the importance of the city, the importance of the water, and who we are. And by recognizing our past, we could begin to see a path to the future. I think it was really because of the understanding of the South Street Seaport and this, our connection with our maritime history and their connection with our history. I have here Harlan Unger's biography of Lafayette, and what it describes is how on July 14th, 1790, there was a huge ceremony called the Fête de Fédération in Paris, and 300,000 people were there. Lafayette turned and pointed toward the Triumphal Arch, where a small troop marched in bearing a flag never before seen in Europe. As the crowd quieted, Lafayette snapped to attention and saluted. The flag bearer was John Paul Jones and Tom Paine at his side, carrying the first American flag with the stars and stripes ever displayed outside the United States. For Lafayette, the flag symbolized the fulfillment of his dream to unite his native and his adoptive lands under the banner of liberty. But throughout his entire lifetime, he fought for those ideals, the ideals of this flag, the ideals of Evacuation Day. And so it is with great pride that we give our Evacuation Day flag, but to have it carried by the Hermione, which we think is a fabulous project here in the United States. And once the Hermione arrives, we will fly both the French flag and our Evacuation Day flag from the flagpoles at Bowling Green, right on location of Evacuation Day, symbolizing the importance of this project from July 3rd through Bastille Day on July 14th, and it will symbolize the unity between the French and the American desires for liberty and our joint efforts for liberty over the last 200 years. When the Hermione first came in 1780, the American Revolution was petering out. We had not enough supplies. The British had much more money. They had in many ways more troops. and it looked like we weren't going to make it. Once Lafayette came with his troops and his and the French troops, it was an unbelievable lift to the American cause. George Washington was so excited, as were all of the American army, that the French had come in such numbers with such quality troops and such leaders as the Marquis de Lafayette, Rochambeau, and Admiral de Grasse and others, that the whole nature of the revolution turned around, and within a year and a half at Yorktown, they were successfully able to defeat the British. So there is no question that the Hermione and Lafayette were the critical factor in American democracy, in the American nation. And I think not enough people understand that or know that. It is so fitting that after 200 years, or more than 200 years, a replica of the Hermione should be sailed here. I know that this is a project which I understand began in Rochefort, France, and has been more than 17 years in the making. We know these projects take a long time and aren't built in a day, but the culmination of July 1st through 4th here in New York, these two flags that I am holding, that one is our Evacuation Day flag, which flew for the first time on Evacuation Day 2014 at Bowling Green, when we reinstituted the holiday of Evacuation Day here in New York City. And this French flag, which represents the importance of the French to our society, that will be given to the representatives of the Hermione to be brought to France, to be carried in the Hermione back to the United States.
Hi, I'm Doug Smith. I'm the owner of World Trade Gallery at 120 Broadway. We've been in the financial district for 34 years. We love this neighborhood and are thrilled to see the Hermione coming to Lower Manhattan. We're opening up our gallery space for a display relating to the Hermione's arrival here before July 4th, and we'll do a nice event in celebration of that. And we just couldn't be happier to be a part of what the Lower Manhattan Historical Society is doing to bring this together. The flags, which just today we wrapped and will go to France and come back, be raised at Bowling Green, the American and the French flag. And it's just a very exciting time for us to be a part of what's happening downtown.